headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
Good morning.
I have to say, the ongoing issues over people having to apologise for things that happened hundreds of years ago continue in the West, don't they? What did you make of what Prince William was asked to say and what he did say yesterday?
Well, I thought he did extremely well. I mean, it's been a very interesting adventure for them, really, because you've got a bit of everything. And this was the very serious bit, and he had to tread very carefully, as if he was on eggshells, to say the right thing, but not too much.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very interesting that the first thing he said was that he agreed with his father, because that actually shows a bond. It shows they're supporting each other, and is quite positive for the future.
But also, we know that what Prince Charles said in Barbados was very much accepted as the right tone. Of course, this was as Barbados became a republic. But the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, I mean, particularly the William, had been asked to go much further. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have been accused of benefiting from the blood, tears and sweat of slaves. And there were calls for reparations from the British monarchy. Look, that was never going to happen. Frankly, it's absurd and ridiculous. And I'm still waiting for my reparations from the Italians and the Danish for what the Romans and the Vikings did to this country. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. But these demands, they're not going away, are they?
They're not going away, but I think it's just a repetitive thing. I mean, the thing is, you're charming, you're nice, you don't take any notice of it. And in fact, a historian told me, I'm not a historian, told me that the royal family wasn't wealthy until Queen Victoria came along, and Albert did a lot of arrangements so that they could have more money. So I don't imagine that is true, but that's not the point either.
They were a lot wealthier than most people, I think we can safely say.
The whole point is that you can't expect these things when it's several generations on. It's just grabbing money and as much as you can, and they'll push their luck, but they won't get it.
No, I mean, that's the reality. I have to say, I do find it a bit rich. I mean, Jamaica, like many Caribbean countries that are making these claims, are very happy to take investment from China. Totally unbothered by forced labour camps for the Uyghurs in China, where millions of people are basically being used as slave labour, having no human rights. Very happy to have, I think there's £3 billion investment in the infrastructure in Jamaica. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. There's a little bit of a taking wherever you can going on here from countries that are claiming to be victims. What was interesting, though, is the niceties of the royal couple being there. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, made comments in front of them very openly about moving towards becoming a republic. And it's understood that actually a senior figure's already been appointed. Jamaica's Attorney General, Marlene Malahou Forte, she's received instructions from the Prime Minister to reform the Constitution to make them a republic and remove the Queen as head of state. So it doesn't look like this visit, which was surely aimed at shoring up support for the Queen's role as head of state, has actually worked very well.
It was a bit of a bombardment. I mean, they just came through the door and he said, right, let's get down to it. But they handled it very well. But I think that they're perfectly entitled to become a republic. What is in doubt is whether there's going to be a referendum and everybody was going to be allowed to vote on it. Because as we thought, there were hundreds of people who were welcoming Catherine and William absolutely excitedly, whether they're going to do this regardless. Even so, they can still be part of the Commonwealth. The Queen is no longer their Queen, which I understand after so long, but they can still join together. The last one, which was a couple of weeks ago, was a once a year meeting in the Abbey. They were saying that the thing to do is to work together for climate change, to understand each other and to be strong. Nothing wrong with that. The Queen doesn't have to be head of it all, but it's a comforting body.
Yeah.
Several small islands coming together and making something positive out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm all in, it's one of the reasons I'm a Brexiteer. Self-determination is very important. Very, very happy for these countries to be as republics. I think it's a bit bizarre, frankly, a lot of them aren't. But again, we can still do the niceties. Let's talk about what's happening next week as well, of course. We've got that memorial for Prince Philip, bearing in mind, of course, just the immediate family were allowed at the funeral, and that iconic picture of the Queen in her mask sitting, across the Abbey from the rest of her family. Again, she didn't need to sit that far away from them, but I knew she was making a very clear statement about what people were being put through at funerals, wasn't she? We know Prince Harry's not going to return, although may well appear at the at the Oscars on Sunday night. Maybe that's why he's too busy. But Prince Andrew will be attending that memorial.
Yes. I've been quite hard on Prince Andrew, as everyone should be. But I feel that he has a duty to his mother, and his mother would like him there. And he has a duty to his father as well. And so he should be there. Although it is public, it is also private. And it's very important for the Queen because it's going to be a Thanksgiving service with lots of people and charities he dealt with saying something, contributing, because none of that happened before. And I think that he has a right to be there. Where they sit him will be quite interesting, actually. And I
think it's outrageous. I don't care in terms of what I do care about what he's done or what he's alleged to have done. He's always denied, but that payout suggests something different. Let's be honest. It's his father's memorial service. He has got a right to be there. Sit in the front row. It's his father. End of story. I think people really need to accept that.
Yes, I think they do. I think that you can't manipulate any family about the relationship between parent and child. No. They might not like what they do, but they love them, and that's the important thing. And nearly 96, the Queen wants him there, and so he should be.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, of course, whether she can make it. She's obviously not very mobile at the moment, but she won't want to be seen in a wheelchair. It may be that she arrives and it's kept private, and then we don't see her walking. It may be that is how they handle it.
The moment is to enable her to seat before anybody comes in. Usually the Queen comes in last as a sign of respect, but get her round the back, and they're going to put up some sort of curtaining so nobody sees her coming in, and so she can get there and sit down. I hope she's got a pillow beneath her and at the back of her, and then she'll be there and she won't get up immediately afterwards. It's important to her to be there, of course, and I think she's built up her strength to do that.
Absolutely.
It sort of draws a kind line underneath the contact with Prince Philip.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, Angela Levin.